Welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going to go on a quest for truth together. Yes, we are. And I'm going to share this out because we got to let our friends know we're here. And we do it the old-fashioned way. We pin it up on the old bulletin board where all of the people are. And one of those places is our Facebook page. We are live. Yes. Join us. Oops. Yes. And welcome, friends, to the 91st episode. Do you believe it? 91st. You would think we would have full disclosure by now, but boy, I guess it takes a while, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, hello, Philip Oliver and Mud Rabbit. How are you doing today? I'm finally starting to get rested up from that gig I had, and wow, well, it sure takes a lot out of you. I haven't done a gig in a while, so it's a workout, let me tell you. So hopefully I can do some more of those, and because that was a lot of fun. So yeah. Well, thank you very much, Mud Rabbit. It was fun to do. It was fun to do. 100 telegrams for the Queen. Oh, good. That sounds good, Philip. That's awesome. Okay, well, friends, welcome to another episode of Full Disclosure, 91st episode. We're going to talk about aliens. We're going to talk about predictions that have come true. Another one just was starting to come true for Corey Goode. About 6 years ago, if you followed his work, his testimony, approximately 6 years ago, he was talking about how the universe isn't how modern physics, particle physics, the current model is taught. And that's not correct. It's an electroplasma universe. Oh my goodness, Catherine Weiss, thank you for that very, very generous super chat. Yes, and folks, if you're looking for a way to support the channel, that's a great way to do it. Or you can go to my PayPal and do that there. That's always a good way to do it too. That way I'll get 100% of your tip. And thank you very much. And yeah, boy, it was awfully fun doing that practice session. It went longer than I thought it was going to, and it really took a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy to be Elvis, let's just say. So getting back to Corey Goode, 6 years ago, he was talking about this electroplasma universe. You know, they sent a probe inside the sun and found out it was an electric sun, and it has like a solid core, and it's like much cooler on the inside, and it's not burning on the inside, and it's not, you know, it's not this ball of gas like the current model suggests. And he said that all planets and all moons and stars are all connected by these electromagnetic filaments. And so the idea that everything's connected, everything is connected. And that's why when the extraterrestrials showed up and they started, you know, talking to people, and warning them and, you know, trying to warn our governments not to do nuclear tests because they said it affects other worlds. Of course it does, since now we know they're all connected. Well, I say that, but I probably shouldn't say that yet. They're on the verge of verifying the cosmic web, which is what Corey calls it, that all these planets and all the stars, everything are connected. This huge labyrinth of electromagnetic filaments that keep like shifting. So because as the planet moves, you know, it might connect with another, you know, electromagnetic filament. And so this could explain a lot. You know, the electroplasma universe is a model that's been kicked around a lot, and a lot of people, you know, find a lot of value in it, including the gentleman that does those brilliant videos. And I can't remember the name of it. The Space Weather News guy. He's fabulous, but he always talks about, you know, because they're electric charges coming out, you know, so it's electric and it's plasma. So plasma electric, that's it. I mean, it's not bursting out just, you know, burning helium and oxygen or whatever they say the sun is supposedly made of. It's electricity and plasma energy. So yeah, that's what the whole thing is. And so just recently, and let me check the chat here. Hello, Divine Tiffany. How are you doing today? Good to see you here. Thank you, everybody. And I want to give a shout out to my buddy who sometimes goes by the name of David, who donated a substantial amount, let's just say. So thank you so much. That really helps to keep the lights on here and everything else like that. So thank you very much, David. And he's one of my friends. So he's a great guy. I haven't met him yet. I'd like to, but great guy. I will, no doubt, someday. All right. Just like a fizzing electrical storm. Yeah, kind of like that, Philip Oliver. Oh, you're doing good, Divine Tiffany. How am I? Well, if I was doing any better, I'd be you. How do you like that? True story. So let's take a look at this article that came out, and Corey Goode highlighted it today. That scientists are starting to put together the cosmic web idea, this idea that we're sort of engulfed in this electromagnetic labyrinth of filaments that connect to everything. They're starting to realize this. So let's take a look at this little story here. Here it is. So, okay, there it is, right there. All right, so wild new paper claims Earth may be surrounded by a giant magnetic tunnel. Okay, they're seeing it as a tunnel, and we're inside this giant tunnel. Okay, so mysterious structures in the sky that have puzzled astronomers for decades might finally have an explanation, and it's quite something. The North Pole Spur and the fan region on opposite sides of the sky may be connected by a vast system of magnetized filaments. Hear that? These form a structure resembling a tunnel that circles the solar system and many nearby stars besides. How do you like that? If we look up in the sky, said astronomer Jennifer West of the University of Toronto, Canada, we would see a tunnel-like structure in just about every direction we look. That is, if we had eyes that could see in radio light. So, so this, and we've known about these two structures for quite some time, since the 60s, but they're difficult to understand. They couldn't tell how far away they were. Now they've done models, and here's kind of what the model looks like, what they've done, kind of like a real tunnel, all the arrows going that way. I'm just going to breeze through this. Here's some of the computer models of this gigantic tunnel of electromagnetic filaments. And this is just a theory now, and it's gaining some traction. But I have a feeling they're going to find more and more and more revelations as they go on. And it continues on. It's pretty interesting. I'll put a link to this in the show notes after we're done broadcasting. But yeah, another proof, possible proof that Corey Goode was telling the truth 6 years ago. How do you like that? So, I just don't understand how people can't, at least entertain what Corey is talking about, because so many things he's predicted have come true, and they're ridiculous things that no one would ever think, and they're coming true. Makes you think, doesn't it? And his warning about AI, I can't stress enough the AI warning that he gives about the AI signal being a sentient, sort of a life-purging, galaxy-wide, possibly universe-wide phenomenon, that they take over civilizations, they coax civilizations into adopting this AI, and look what's happening now, this whole transhumanism, where they're trying to push merging with machine or computer and humans. On the one hand, if it can help someone see, that's a good thing. But on the other hand, if there are nanites inside of your body that could wreak havoc, I don't think that's a good idea. I really think that we need to stay as natural as we can, as homeogenic as we can. And, I just think this AI is a very dangerous thing. Corey said it was the most dangerous thing that the secret space program ever came up against or discovered. And they're just, that's just it. Some people are saying, well, the AI could be good for humanity, and it could be, I can just see, now I'm going to make a prediction here, because a lot of judges are making bad decisions, right? Because why? Because they're biased. Okay, why were biased judges put on the bench? Makes you wonder. Well, I predict there's going to be an AI solution. AI judges. Yeah, and it'll be promoted as, oh, they're non-partial because they're AI. Bull crap. Someone programmed it. Besides, if this AI signal gets in, we're doomed. But that's what they do. Slowly, they sneak it in. And pretty soon they'll be our judges and everything else. And it's just going to be, and you're going to hear a lot of people, even in this community, talking about, oh, it'll be great. We could extend our life, and these little things can go in our bodies and fix us and keep track of our health. And we can't hit the I've fallen, I can't get up button, they'll know. Well, I'd rather live dangerously and natural than safe and surrounded by metal bugs inside me. Thank you very much. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Au naturel for me. I'm not digging that transhumanism stuff. So yeah. Hello, Red in the Valley. Good to see you here. All right, I'm gonna put a little love in the chat there. So yeah, the AI, I mean, my goodness, they've already got robots that can shoot and that can outmaneuver humans. I mean, what the heck are we doing? We should have only made robots like Robbie the robot with like those flexy arms, something that, is that a human could have a chance against. I don't know. And thank you again, Catherine, for that super chat. And I will shout out whatever is printed on any super chat too. And so, have you folks ever heard of the McPherson tape? The McPherson tape. We'll get back to this AI thing, but I think we're going to be talking about this AI thing for a long, long, long time. Okay. Okay, one more. All right, now we're all set. Okie dokie, Pinocchio. Time to do the old screen share a Rooney. All right. Now, in the McPherson tape, there's this family. This came out in the 90s, and it was quite a sensation. So this family, it was like a birthday. This family, it was like a normal home video family having a little birthday party for some kid there. And all of a sudden, the lights went out, and the guys go out to find out what's going on. And they see this ship, this strange looking ship. Oh, oh, I almost hit the wrong button, folks. Sometimes that might happen, and that trying to avoid that. So here is the ship. Now, I took this still from the video. Let me see if I can brighten it up a bit so we can get some more. Now, is this a ship or is it just like one of those houses? I don't know. So now there's someone coming out, or people are coming out and saying that this was all a film project. So, okay, so there's the ship, the alleged ship, and they're zooming in from far away. And this is the 90s, so it's one of those big, large shoulder cams that you got to rest on your shoulder. It's so big. So yeah, what do you guys think? Have you seen this? It's kind of a spooky footage of this family, and they're being terrorized. Hello, Austin Morris. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Glad to see you here. So now apparently there's this filmmaker who, I guess, they figured out he did this, or he admitted to it. I just heard this today. So, but I remember this from the 90s. And I remember thinking, wow, this doesn't seem like acting. They really seemed like they were terrified. And the guy was screaming at his family, and he had a gun, and they shot through the roof, and they hit one, and they brought the dead one in, and all this drama. But yeah, so it might end up being a movie. The only thing that looked fake to me was in the end when the aliens came in, and they looked kind of like kids in costumes. That's the only part of that footage that I thought was, it raised a lot of questions. So here's some more pictures that might help you remember if you saw this footage or not from the McPherson tape from the 90s. So here's that spaceship is over here. Here's the ramp coming down, and the first alien was standing here, and then second alien, and there's a third alien here. He's walking up. So 3 aliens, and they freak out. Okay, they figure out, oh my God, it is a spaceship. At first, one of the guys like, no, it's not a spaceship. It's a freaking spaceship. No, it's not a spaceship. It's a spaceship. And then one of them looks at them, and then they freak out, and they run back in the house, and they get their gun, and the thing is on the roof, crawling around on the roof, and they shoot it, and he brings the body in. It's pretty spectacular. But it might have been just a movie. This guy, the movie maker, allegedly was enthralled with ET, and he wanted to make a movie like that, or Close Encounters or something like that. So yeah, I don't know. You know, I think that might be true. Yeah, it's pretty fuzzy. Like I said, it was filmed in the 90s. And yeah, well, here's some of the video if you want to watch it. And I'll give credit to the, this video is from Ramtro Studios, okay? So give them a subscribe. The full story of UFO abduction, the McPherson tape. So he's kind of dissecting it, okay? So I think I'm going to just pause it here. That's the kind of camera they were using. I'll just do the dialogue. So let's see. Well, I guess nothing's happening now. So there's a family. There's the lights are out in the house. They're frantic. They're trying to figure out what to do. He wants them all to get in the car and leave. They're saying no. Well, let's see if we can hear some of it.
Mom, I have it on tape!
And because the power's still out, they can't watch the tape back. So everyone decides to just ignore it for now and carry on with the birthday party.
The camera against my head.
Just when we think things are back to normal, Michelle shows them a nice drawing she's made of an alien face.
Holy shit, they're still here!
See? It gets pretty dramatic.
Eric, get the guns!
You got it! I think you got it!
Somehow the shot manages to kill the alien on the roof, and one of the brothers retrieves the corpse.
There's the alien. He's bringing it in.
For some reason. I don't know. Maybe he just wants to mount it on his wall. Well, since...
Let's go back and freeze
You
that.
got it! I think you got it!
Somehow the shot manages to kill the alien on...
Let's freeze it. Okay, see, there's the alleged alien. And I was always, you know, bummed that they didn't film it a little more. See, look at it right there. Okay, that looks very interesting, you know, but it's very brief and it's from a weird angle. So let's...
The aliens are here now. The family wisely decides it wants to get the fuck out of there.
Well, I'm sorry about the language. But yeah, let's take the sound off. I don't want language like that on my show. So yeah, they're swearing and they're very emotional. They're yelling at each other. It's pretty dramatic. It doesn't really look like acting to me. I mean, he's really genuinely pissed. Maybe it's acting. I don't know. So yeah, there's a lot of chaos. It's not like they're following a script. It just doesn't seem like a script that they're following, but apparently maybe it was. However, if it is real, then, you know, the powers that control this would want to put info out that would make it seem like a hoax, or they, you know, maybe even pay some guy to admit that he did it, you know, who knows? They're not very good at telling the truth usually. Let's find out what's going on here.
I don't know. I can't really.
Gun. Gun.
But Buck,
So they put the alien in the back room and they checked it later. It was gone. So they're freaking out. They're freaking out. So yeah, anyway, that's that. And I'm really disappointed that that guy swore on there. But I try not to swear. Well, yeah, well, that tape was scary, you know. At the end, the kids come walking in, the aliens come walking in, and it looks fake. And I just turned it off. I didn't want to have any more foul language on my channel. I'll have to screen it better next time. I didn't watch all of it. I just watched part of it. But yeah, so I always thought that that might be real, but still hesitant about it, you know. So if you have a little bit of hesitancy, you know, that might mean something, right? All broken away. Aaron, at Aaron, I think I swear enough for both of us. It's okay. Okay, well, that's good to know that someone's picking up the slack for me. Thank you very much, the Brooklyn Way. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I wish I could pay attention to the chat more often. I just I love everybody in the chat, so please excuse me if I don't always see everyone's chat. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting. You know what? I'm gonna speed it ahead to where they get. Where those little what you call it, aliens come in. And it's cycling through a couple of ads. I'm saving you from seeing, okay? Yeah. Oh, I also have a new t-shirt. It's called All Fear. It's like a picture of a mask and it says All Fear on it. And they even had this retired Air Force guy talking about how he thought it looked real. But, you know, if it's done well enough, some people will think it's real. Right? Okay, I'm trying to find the exact spot where the beings come into the living room. Maybe they don't have that part on here. That's disappointing because it's kind of a telltale. It kind of, you know. Wait a minute. I think I found it. I think I found it here. Let me see. No, I don't think this is it. Anyway, I think that's an interesting case. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to watch a couple of these debunking videos to see, you know, oh, there it is. Okay. And they only showed it for a brief second. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna get it right on the money here. All right. Encounters, the hidden truth. That's what it appeared on TV. You know, this could have been done by a TV. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to screen share this again for you, and you can see this part that I'm talking about. And you can see why it looks fake. Or at least that's what I think, that it sort of looks fake. All right. Okay, here they are. They just walked in here. There's three of them, 1, 2, 3. But they kind of look like kids with masks on, to me. Okay, so we're gonna see them walking. Oh, see, they don't show any more of it. I don't know why they don't. There he is carrying the dead alien in, apparently. Could be, again, just a kid with a mask on. There's the TV show it appeared on television, because these kind of things were, you know, popular. Unsolved Mysteries. There they are. And then one of them looks at the camera and the camera fuzzes out. They don't show that on here. But when they do a close-up on him, when they close up on him, his eyes look fake. So that's what I think. So there you go. How do you like that? Oh, you got your Quest logo shirt last week. It's neat. Oh, that's awesome, Dark Brain. That's cool. Yeah. Oh, darn. I was going to bring my shirt so I could show it. I just got it cleaned. I've washed it a number of times. It still looks like brand new. So I always turn it inside out when I wash it. And if I'm thinking, I'll pull it out before it's dried too much, or I'll just hang it to dry. Yeah, that's another great way to help the programs, to get yourself a shirt or a hoodie or a can koozie, or you know, I could make a mask, but that would defeat the purpose of the Invisimask, right? Kind of against that. I don't want to cause anybody to get sick. You know, what about all the mask manufacturers? Will they be able to take them to court? Something about Colin Powell, huh? His family even mentioned that it was from the JAB. Yeah. Staying natural. Nothing wrong with being natural. Let me see. How many thousands or millions of years has our immune system worked for us? Many. Many millions, many thousands. Still working today. Some people try to convince you that it doesn't, because they want to make a lot of money and they have other agendas that we're not going to, we can hint about here. Population with D in front of it. I think they can find that. Now, you know, we're supposed to rate our shows on YouTube here, and they ask you all these questions. Is there, you know, foul language, blah, 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 all this other stuff, all these questions. I always say, no, none of that content. And, you know, they're telling me now that I've been wrong so many times that now they're not going to go by what I say. They're going to go by what the robots say. And the robots always say, obviously, because, you know, if you invent the Invisimask, they're going to come after you. I think this is what's happening, and talk about the kind of things I talk about. But I can't stop talking about it. So nice try. Right? Isn't that right? You know what? I'm going to go ahead and put the information to join us here and talk if and you like. We'll do a little copying and pasting. It's that thing that all those kids are doing these days, copying and pasting. Yeah. I never ate the paste. And remember, on the passcode, it's 186987. And then the next image here is not a 0, it's a capital O for the word one tap mobile, okay? I don't know why it always does that for me. But it does. It does that kind of thing. It'll do what it does. It'll do what it does. All right, we're going to keep an eye on this. Open up the participants window and open up the chat here on Zoom. Oh, I gotta make it bigger first. So yeah, I had a good time over there at the Hideaway, Marshall's Hideaway in Little Sturgeon, Sturgeon Bay. Little Sturgeon is like south of Sturgeon Bay. It's on the water. And there was a little car show there, and we had Elvis and the Packer game against the Bears. So that's what that was. And where's the chat? There it is. Okay. And a little special message to the people who call in. They'll see that magical little message there. How do you like that? Oh, the Sutton family were straight-laced Baptist types. No alcohol in that household. Well, oh. Maybe I'm a Baptist because I don't drink either. But I don't think I am a Baptist. I'm a spiritualist. I do very much believe in the spirit because I have experienced it myself. Well, what are my thoughts about the Pleiadian topic? Do they exist? Are they among us? Well, I think that's a possibility. You know, whenever I talk and whenever I think about stuff like this, I like to, oh, Mud Rabbit, you're a Baptist. Awesome. It does sound like a good sect for sure. I know my cousin is a Lutheran. Is it a minister or pastor? I always get that mixed up. Yeah. Yeah. But I've actually never been baptized. Never been baptized, but I do take showers quite often. So I think, you know, I think I've been baptized. So there it is. So there it is, and there you have it. And I got a picture or two from the gig I want to show you, if that's all right with you. While we're waiting for someone to call in. So here is a picture from inside of the Hideaway, and boy, they named that place appropriately, the Hideaway, because I had a hard time finding it. So there I am, rocking it out at the Hideaway. And it was hard to find. But there it happened. And that's the Chains outfit. That's like one of my favorite outfits that Elvis wore. It's very simple, not a lot of gaudiness to it, but it's cool, you know? Yeah, it's different from the outfit I wore in the practice session. The practice session I did with my Conchos suit. This is the Chains suit. And so yeah, there's chains. You can see my sunglasses hanging from the chains. And I got another picture here of me with the guy who organized the whole thing. And here he is, my good friend Wolfie. Wolfie. So he also tends bar down there. So go on and check it out if you're ever up in Door County and at the Hideaway. And no one will ever be able to find you because you're at the Hideaway. That's all right, Mama. I mean, Aaron. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Mud Rabbit. She separated it out and made it look better. Wow. See, I must have done something good in one of my lifetimes to deserve such great mods. Not only are they great mods, they got great stories and they're great guests. So you can't get any better than that. Great photos. Thanks. Yeah. Suit still fits. Unbelievable. Yeah. So that was the Hideaway gig. And we'll be doing another one probably at some point. He's going to be doing some more of these car shows and so let's see. Maybe I could show you some of the. Oh, did I download the cars? Let me see. I'll check. I'll check what the heck I did. Oh, and here is the all fear design that I did. There it is. Oh, I almost had it. There it is. All fear. And this was a suggestion from a longtime listener, good friend. So there it is. I'm very trim. Oh my goodness. Well, Red in the Valley. It's a very slimming outfit. Okay, just let me tell you that. All right, it's a slimming outfit. Yeah, wasn't Mud Rabbit's call awesome? Yeah, you can call in anytime you want, Mud Rabbit and Dark Brain. It'd be cool to have them both on at the same time, wouldn't it? They'd have to like do the modding with their toes or something. I bet they could. That they're that good. I saw one online that said this is a mind control device. Okay. I think I missed part of that. Well, I'm glad I can still fit into that suit because it was pretty expensive. Those things don't come cheap. But yeah, it's fun. If you're going to be anybody, be Elvis. I mean, it's a pretty fun guy to be, right? So there it is, all fear. It is a poignant, right? Mind control. Oh, yeah, you saw a mask that said this is mind control. Yes, it is. You're right. It's all the fear along with it. Yes. Yeah. So that's on t-shirts and stuff too, if you want to go and check those out. So that's what that is. And there you go. Yeah, I was a little late today because I had to readjust my green screen because I had to put it up so I could stand up and still be in view. So there you go. Oh boy. Okay, well, that one didn't come up. And also, let's see. What else was I going to show you all? Oh, I know what I was going to do. Wasn't going to do that. So, Wolfie, who organized the whole gig, who set the whole thing up, had a friend of his come down and take some photographs for promotional flyers, and so that was very cool. And this gal's name is Catherine. It's not the same Catherine we see in our chat. It's a different Catherine. And this was one of the pictures we took inside the place. Very low ceiling. Very rustic. That's so being an Elvis impersonator has its perks. There you go. Or an Elvis tribute artist, as we prefer to be called. Usually ETAs don't like to be called impersonators. Oh, and check out, my sideburns are back to gray now. They were, I had to touch them up and darken them in a little bit because they're going a bit gray, you know. So there's that. Yeah, I just use that, you know, I don't use Grecian formula or anything. You know, I had a boss, Mr. English at Coast to Coast in Mound, Minnesota. And he used Grecian formula in his hair. And, you know, if you ever saw the ads years ago for Grecian formula, you know, if you're going gray, you can gradually go back to your natural color. This is supposed to make it gradually go back so no one notices. It turned his hair green. Everybody noticed. Hey, Mr. English, your hair's green. Oh, I know, I'm using Grecian formula. I don't know what happened. Well, keep using it. Oh, man. You know, everybody wants something different from what they have. You know, if someone has curly hair, they want straight hair. If someone has straight hair, they want curly hair. Be happy with what you got because someone else wants it. And you got it naturally, right? So always be happy with the way you are because that's the way you're meant to be, right? Like I was meant to have gray sideburns at this point in my life, but when I do gigs, I'm going to color them, okay? It's just what I do. Yeah, feel free to call in again whenever you want, you guys. No, the ladies weren't trying to get a piece of me. That was, she was she was also hired to come and promote this car show, taking pictures, you know, and she's a great sport. Oh, Abby, I liked my straight hair. Oh, good. Yeah, it's important that we, you know, what they say, you can't love someone else until you can love yourself, right? Part of loving yourself is being happy with the way we are. Because, you know, really, I mean, we all did a miraculous thing by entering the world of the living. Because, you know, at that moment of conception, only one of the approximately billion or billions of sperm will be the one that makes it in, and each one is different personality. So we already beat the odds like a billion to one to make it here. It's like, whoa, that's incredible. And we're alive at a time where all these other people right now are alive. Wow. You can like meet all these cool people who are alive right now. We're lucky to be here right now because we can meet all these people who are alive right now. Like Mud Rabbit and Dark Brain and Catherine Weiss and Red in the Valley and Abby and Sandy Sue 22. Finally caught a live chat. Hey, Sandy Sue 22. Good to see you here. Indeed. So, hi, Becky. I'm scrolling up to see if I missed anything here. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Looking forward to doing more gigs. And like I told everybody there, bar mitzvahs, birthdays, bar mitzvahs, weddings, divorces, any happy occasion. So there you go. Any happy occasion. 17 watching. Yay, 17. Oh, now there's 20. Oh, and I'm going to be number 13. Ooh, I'm lucky 13. I got the lucky 13. How do you like that? Thanks, Mud Rabbit. Yeah, I just got it. Oh, someone got the 14. My lucky number is 13 for today, friends. So whatever you click, when you click that thumbs up, that's your lucky number. So what do you do with a lucky number? Whatever you want to do with it, right? Whatever you want. Yeah, 19 now. We're growing. We're going viral, baby. That's right. Viral. We're going viral. So yeah. I was out and about the other day, refilling one of the places that sells the super cubes. One of the few places that actually sells them now. And I ran into a friend of mine, and he took this picture of me because I guess he just did. So here it is. This is a couple days ago. And there I was at the Gloss Coffee Shop with my Invisimask shirt on, and no mask, by the way. No visible mask. Of course, I have the state-of-the-art Invisimask on that you cannot see. So there you go. And there you have it, the Invisimask. Always fun to wear these shirts out and about around town, waking people up. And like I said, when I go to Walmart with this shirt on, I get high fives and fist bumps from almost everybody. They dig it. They dig it. So there you go. It's weird wearing your own face, though, I gotta say. It's like, whoa. It's a challenge to get your hair to look like that again. Like, oh man, how did I get it to do that? Oh yeah, I just shake my head and go, and it goes right to form every time. Actually, it only takes me like about a minute to do my hair. And I've had people in my life in the past, because I've worn my hair like this since I graduated high school in 1980. The big 1980, yes. I started wearing my hair like this. So, and I always got, some people would give me the business. Oh, you probably spent an hour on your hair. No, how about like 1 minute? You probably spend a fortune on your hair. How about like, I buy the cheapest hairspray. I buy the cheapest gel, okay? That's what I use. LA Looks, this is not an endorsement. And that French hairspray, what's it called? That French hairspray, Suave. Yeah, Suave. The cheap stuff. And it works. It works better than anything. It gives me hurricane hair, all right? Not even a hurricane can miss this dew. Got it? That's right. I remember the old days back in the 80s, I was using mousse. You ever use that? That stuff turns your hair into plastic if you use enough of it. You literally have plastic hair. But I don't think it's good for you because it's got alcohol in it. So don't use that mousse. Don't use it very often. And I don't use the aerosol hairspray. I use the pump kind, and not very much, okay? And I don't use very much of the gel. For a while, I was using Brill cream, and I think that was what I was wearing in my hair, Brill cream, when I met Prince the first time, because I was in the bathroom at First Avenue, and this was, for time frame reference, it was when not Purple Rain, Little Red Corvette first came out, which was his first breakaway hit, his first, kind of a national big hit. And okay, Dark Brain, Aaron, t-shirt idea, personalized Invisimask shirts. People send photo. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, send your photo in if you want an Invisimask. I wonder how I could do that. Because then I have to put it up on a store, and then other people could buy that person's face. It's an interesting idea. I could maybe, make a template and like a digital template, and they can print out their own of the surrounding. They just drop their photo in behind it. I don't know. I think I just want a t-shirt with my picture on it. Well, you can do it. Go to, Store Frontier. So it's called Store Frontier. Yeah, and you can print your own things there, your own t-shirts. Insert photo here. Yeah, there you go. Your photo here. Yeah, they could just use Gorilla Glue and glue it right on there. Maybe. That's pretty funny. Okay, I'm checking this chat here. Still nobody calling in. Storefrontier.com. There it is, Mud Rabbit. Yeah, so you can make your own store too. And you can buy shirts in bulk as well. So if you have a design, like you got a bowling team and you want to get everyone the same shirt, you need like 10 or so, whatever, you can print in bulk. Or if you're, having a reunion or something, you want to sell a t-shirt, there you go. It's a pretty cool thing. Now, the shipping does take a little while, a couple weeks, but it's good quality stuff and vibrant colors. So there you go. And it's something you can wear around and help spread awareness of full disclosure. We need full disclosure. Full disclosure of everything, all the good, all the bad, and all the ugly. The good, bad, and the ugly. We need just rip the Band-Aid off. Just go right down the line. Okay, yes, the cavalry ran into aliens back in the 1800s. Here's the documentation. Yes, we did recover 2 craft in the Battle of LA incident over LA in 1942, before Roswell. And yes, Roswell happened. There were 2, maybe even 3 craft involved. One got bumped back to a different time period. I think to 1957, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't know. That information is a little hazy, but yes, and all this stuff is happening. And yes, pretty much almost everybody who's had a story about UFOs is telling the truth, because that's how many there are. Many, 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 many of them but it's just been made such a taboo subject that people have been reluctant to talk about it for years. Like when I had my cable access show here back in the early 50s, there was a gigantic UFO seen in two towns, like 40 miles away from each other, 35 miles away, simultaneously. And a state trooper drove underneath it, said it was more than a mile long because it was hovering over the highway at one point. But nobody wanted to come and talk about it. And this was in the early 90s or mid 90s when I had my show in Sturgeon Bay. But nobody wanted to come on, but they did call in anonymously. It was a call-in show. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer? No, I haven't seen that. You know, what's really weird is I kind of lost my whole motivation for going into movies. And it started quite a long time ago when I heard that the modern 3D movies that have this modern 3D effect, they can accomplish much deeper mind control with those. So I've been steering clear of those, and then I pretty much dropped them all off because I don't want my mind manipulated, you know. Sometimes I get so emotional watching a movie, you know, because I'm empathetic, and I empathize with everyone getting hurt on the movie, whether they're really getting hurt or not. It's pretty agonizing. I just don't like it. I'd rather watch something happy. And I don't like watching anything dystopian because I don't want to bring that timeline forward by reinforcing it, by entertaining the idea in my mind. I don't want to even do it. So I don't want to have that sitting in my mind doing whatever it's doing. So, you know, I'd rather make something and watch it than watch something made by because I mean, you look at the movie Metropolis, okay? That was like a silent movie, right? So done way back in time, silent black and white movie. Kind of sepia, I think it's in sepia, but black and white basically, not color, and it's silent. And there is so much satanic symbolism in that. It's unbelievable. Illuminati, Cabal, whatever you want to call it, occult. But it's mind-boggling. It's like they weren't even trying to hide it. They were just blatantly throwing it out there. And so if they were doing that back then in silent movie times, with today's sophistication with computers and even the flashing of the lights of the screen can affect your mind. It can reprogram you. Even the confuser we're looking at right now, you know, it can be doing that too. I mean, so, boy, yeah, I don't know. Hello, Beatrice. Beatrice Tonkin, welcome. Yeah, and the AI. We can't forget about the AI. People, don't fall for the AI God agenda. They're going to make it seem very tangible and very advantageous. Oh, you can do this, you can do that. Oh, just get chipped. Oh, just put this in your brain. Put the chip in your brain. You can get the internet in your head. Yeah, like that's not going to be a possible problem. Yeah, so your buddy takes a high-powered magnet to where your chip is, and now your brain turns to mush. You know, come on. It's just unfeasible. I don't know. You know, do your own research, come to your own conclusions. My conclusion for me is I'm going to stay natural, man. You know, I'm like an animal. We're like these animals, right? And I remember my mom telling a story when she was a kid. There was a cow that they did surgery on. They put a window into the side of it, like a plexiglass window. so you could see the insides of the cow. Ew. Well, chipping of humans, I see the same way. It's like, ugh, ugh. Too much can go wrong, you know. I think that it would eventually inhibit us more than it would help us, obviously. Hi, Beatrice. So yeah, there you go. Alrighty then, zombie apocalypse. Yeah. Well, yeah, the zombies. Yeah, they, the government does have a plan for the zombie apocalypse, and I think they're helping foment that right now with the division. And that's another thing, the division, folks. This is the United States of America, united, not the divided, the united. United we stand, divided we fall. Divided we fall. Who's dividing us? Take a look around. They want us to fall. Why? Could be another superpower wants to take us over. Paint Mickey Mouse red and take over everything. It's very scary. But if we all stand tall, stand up for your freedom, stand up for your rights, give our freedoms back, or there might be a fight, right? There doesn't have to be. And I certainly pray and hope that there won't be. But everything has a tipping point. You can be pushed only so far, and that goes for lots of things. I just feel sorry for these people who were, given a choice of either a job or another three-letter word that starts with J and ends with B. But people are standing up, and that standing up is a good thing, because that's how we got our rights in the first place, was by people standing up. Tyranny is not any good. And look what they're doing over on the West Coast. California legislature passed some law where they won't allow owner-operator truck drivers into the ports. Oh, really? Only mega corporations are allowed. Oh, really? So if you can't tell by now, they're attacking small businesses, small business owners, and the average American just trying to get by, trying to make the American dream come true. And meanwhile, they're bringing in millions of unvetted people from the border and from other countries, including Afghanistan, who might be thinking, wow, America, where we can succeed. Well, no, it's not going to be anything like that for the ones with good intentions. That's not the future they're going to shoot for, but it's the future I'm shooting for. And that's for it to remain free, and for an American to decide, you know what, I'm going to take the money I saved up and maybe even combine it with my friends and start a little business and make some products or a service that people want and need, and make some money so I can provide for my family, pay taxes. But these people don't want that. They want everybody on welfare so they can stay in power, so we'll be dependent on them. Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of ranting, aren't I? But it's exhausting, waiting for the normies to wake up. How much bull crap do you need to see before it's clear? Excuse the lingo, schmingo. Manufacturing crisis. No need for shortages. That's right. I saw a sign. It was a real sign on a business. It was so funny. It said, closed we are closed because we're shorthanded. No, because we're short employees. Our employees are short or something like that. And he says, well, hire tall employees. I need a taco. I wish I could remember it correctly. Woot woot, mud rabbit. Oh, Austin is talking about Hollywood. Fritz Lang. That sounds interesting. Yeah. That is a rich history in science fiction. You know, I started writing my first science fiction story when I was in high school. And I was fascinated by something that I saw on the globe. On the globe, in school, there's an area. Is it in Antarctica, or is it on the South Pole or the North Pole? Someplace like that. It's called the area of inaccessibility. What? The area of inaccessibility. It was a big, area on the map or on the globe. Area of inaccessibility. So I thought, I started doing like a graphic novel, comic book of it, where these explorers go to try and figure out what is this unexplored, area. And they climb up this big ice cliffs and they look down and there's gun barrels pointing up all around to blast anybody that comes close. And they get a glimpse of a bunch of UFOs like in this big base. So that was my idea. Never finished it, of course. This is the first time I've ever talked about it. That was a long time ago. But yeah, I thought it was a cool idea. The area of inaccessibility. I'm not sure if it's still marked that way. But back when I was a youngster, it was. And so that was my idea. Too many ideas, not enough time. I have seen that on old maps on an old metal world globe. Oh yeah? They probably took it off because too many people were curious about it. Hey, what's this? Every adventure seeker is going to go, yeah, let's go there. Let's be the one, right? But yeah. Hello, Peggy Dancer. Now we can dance. Peggy Dancer's here. Nice color shirt, Aaron. Thank you. Isn't this a nice shirt? I mean, look, it's got like a texture to it, right? I don't know if you can see it, but it's got like lines, like woven. It's like a woven. It's a very nice shirt. I'm gonna unbutton this because it looks funny like that. But yeah, it's a nice shirt. I'm not sure what brand it is. Can't really see. No, can't see, too dark. But yeah, it's a great shirt. It fits me. It's a great color and it's comfortable. It's the fabric feels good, Some shirts, they don't fit right. They feel kind of funny. This shirt, it's like one of my favorite shirts. And I got it from a thrift shop. I paid $1 for it. And it's like my favorite shirt. So there you go. You can always find a deal. You don't have to pay big bucks for stuff. You can search around and you can find deals. I find lots of deals. There's deals to be had. And, you save a little money on clothes, you can spend a little more money on something else, right? But yeah, I wouldn't even know what store would even sell a shirt like this, let alone what the cost would be. So I'm very thankful for this little local thrift shop we got here. They got awesome stuff. My shoes came from Goodwill. All right, Mud Rabbit. That's the way to do it. And this place is called Clothe My People. And it used to be the free store where everything was free. And then they started, well, maybe we should charge $1 for this, $1 for that, $10 for a jacket, or, um, or different things would have different prices, but everything's basically lower than anywhere else. And shirts and pants are $1 each. And it's like, oh, buy some clothes, and you can't really try them on there. But if they don't fit, I just take them back. I donate them back. It was only $1. Here, have it back. Someone else can take advantage of it. But yeah, it's a good thing. It's a very cool thing to have. With the price of gas going up, you need to save money somewhere. So be like Mud Rabbit. Get your shoes at Goodwill. Yeah, I got a really cool pair of Elvis shoes at Goodwill for like $5. They're white patent leather with 2 zippers on each shoe. You can't find these kind of shoes anymore. They don't make them. But however, they're like several sizes too small. So when I wear them, it's painful, but it's worth it because they look cool, right? That's right. Sometimes it's a small price to pay for looking cool, right? The Brooklyn Way. Okay, Mud Rabbits. She's a knitter too. Wow. Yeah, my mom used to make Afghans, and she would crochet things, and taught us how to crochet. Yeah. Yeah, Mud Rabbit's pretty clever. Pretty clever indeed. Well, I was thinking maybe our good friend Austin Powers was going to call. I talked to him the other day. Maybe he still will. Are they two-toned, Aaron? Oh, the shoes? No. Do you want to see them? I could run into my bedroom because, here's the deal. When I used to have gigs all the time, when I had gigs, I'd be like getting all my stuff together for the gig, like sound equipment, all the music, microphone, amplifier, player, blah 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 blah, all this table, blah blah, and outfit, um, uh, and shoes. And I would always be frantically looking for my shoes. And then one day I had a brilliant idea. Hey, shoes are like art. I'm going to hang them up on the wall. And I did. And they look so cool. I just put a tack in the wall and hang it by the heel. And they look great. Shoes, I mean, you might have to spray them with a little shoe stuff, a little freshener, or stick some odor eaters in there or something. But I have them up on my wall. Pretty cool, huh? So I'll be right back with a couple of shoes to show you. All right? Is that okay? So, well, let me put something on the screen here so you can see something. Let's put the picture of me and Wolfie back up there from the gig. I'll be right back. Okay. I got my shoes. I got them shoes. Because without shoes, I got the blues. All right. First of all, those zippered, let me get the zipper up. Oh boy, they're getting hard to zipper, I'm telling you. But here they are. Look at these babies. Look at that shoe. Now, is that a shoe? It needs to be polished. I haven't worn these in a while. And I did not wear these the other day because they're just too tight. These are the shoes I wore. They're penny loafers that added white. Elvis had a pair just like that. And here's a pair of shoes that I got in New York. It's like one of my favorite pairs of shoes ever. Look at this shoe. I mean, you gotta like put your hand in there to kind of look at this. Isn't this cool? I mean, this is like a cool as heck shoe. I love this shoe. It's like an Italian shoe, and it's it used to be white and gray, but I made it black with black polish. It looks a little cooler, black and white. It was cool gray and white too, but those are some of my cool shoes. So I don't have very many shoes, but the shoes I have are kind of cool. Yeah, they're so Elvis. I know, that's why I had to, I found them in this thrift store. Whoa, $5. Man, you just can't get shoes like that. And sometimes, I like to do little jokes, right? Humor. So I would come out on stage in my white jumpsuit and those shoes, and I'd come out and hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Moriarity, and I do some songs for you. Wait a minute, I got dressed so quickly, I think I forgot to zip my zipper, and I go down and I zip my shoe up, zipper. So that's a little Elvis humor for you. You like the second pair the best, the penny loafers? Yeah, I think those might be the penny loafers that, well, maybe they aren't. I had a pair of penny loafers once. Now, years ago, I had a car that stalled in the highway, and this was before cell phones. And I walked to a payphone. My car's like in the middle of the highway, and stalled. And I reached in my pocket. I'm in the payphone. I reached in my pocket, both pockets. No change. I had no change in my car. Like, oh my God, no change. I was so depressed. I just, my head went down like this. I looked down and I looked at my feet and my shoes. I was wearing my penny loafers, very much like those, only they were all black. But I had taken the pennies out earlier, I'd forgotten, like a week earlier or so, and I replaced them with quarters. And it took 2 quarters to get a call through. So penny loafers saved me. And I was able to make a call and get the car out of there and get it fixed. So if you have penny loafers, maybe you don't need quarters now because of cell phones. That would have been good advice in the past. So maybe I can travel back in time when I get my reverse time machine where you can go back in time. When I finally figure that one out, that'll be a little harder than the last one I did. The last, where is that darn thing? I think I lent it to my daughter, the time machine. Yeah, she wanted to show it to somebody. So there you go. Hey, Corbin Phoenix is in the house. What's going on? Bigfoot struck again at my house? Oh my gosh. Folding trees? Whoa. Well, you're welcome to call in if you want to, Corbin, and talk about it. That sounds pretty incredible. Wow. Oh yeah, put New York City subway tokens in them. Yeah, if you're in New York, for sure, that would have worked too. Brooklyn way. That's right. I've been to New York City many times for the toy fair, for the International Toy Fair. Quite something. Man, that is some kind of a thing. I don't know if it's as big as it used to be, but it used to be fabulous. Oh, thanks, Mud Rabbit, for putting my my address for my PO box. Yeah, it's HG&P Aaron, PO Box 711, Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin 54235. And an email is hotgamesandpuzzlesllc@gmail.com. Yeah, I think Bigfoot does whatever he wants to with the trees, and the trees don't have a much of a say. Yeah, did you video the damage? That would be interesting. There's the Zoom thing. If you want to call in, feel free. Anybody who wants to call. Hot guy in puzzles. Oh, well, thank you, Abby. Thank you very much. That was sweet. I got to give a little heart for that one. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. We got 19 watching and 21 likes. That's awesome. We got a ghost liker. We have a ghost liker. Yeah, I got some pretty interesting comments on that practice tape, that practice session video. One of the people there said, you know, I'm usually a silent watcher, but and this person's from Italy. So very interesting. Boy, you just never know. You know, it's bizarre to think that something you do can be seen in other countries, and it's so weird, you know? So cool. It's so cool. I'm so glad that this, I always wanted there to be like this Jetsons. Oh my goodness, we got two people. We got Corbin Phoenix and we have Austin too. So we let Corbin in first. Corbin, my buddy. All right, he's connecting his audio, and the famous Corbin Phoenix, check out his YouTube channel. He is a singer, songwriter extraordinaire. And
Experience.
there he is, the one and only Corbin Phoenix.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, Bigfoot, huh?
Yes, he did it again.
He did it again.
Man. Like, you know, I mean, just being out there, out here, you know, out here stuff at night, just kind of weird. Like out here, you know, like rocks, seems like rocks falling on the driveway or the gravel road that, you know, we live off of. Out here, rocks falling sometimes. And I'd be like, what the hell is out there like dropping rocks? You know, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. And being that I live out in the country, I'll, you know, step on the porch and like pee off the porch, and then I'll hear this shit. Yo, I'm serious. For real.
Remind me not to walk near your porch at nighttime. I'll think it's raining. Hey, it's raining.
Oh, hey, listen. It's a lot better than right. Hey, Prince is my cousin. Yellow rain.
Oh no! Oh my gosh! That's your next hit, dude. That's your next hit.
I gotta drop it, man. Yellow rain. But no, but it's but that's also funny because it also connects to another dot. My grandpa, his name, you know, his nickname was Sonny, and he got the nickname when he was ever since he was 4 years old until the day he died. And I always wondered, why did they call you Sonny? And he said, because he said back in the day, they used to have a door-to-door salesman, and the salesman would come up to the house at like early as shit in the morning. And he said he would climb, he was like 4 years old, 4 years old. He'd climb on top of the house. And when the salesman would come up, he would pee on him from on top of the house. Yes, he was up when the sun came up, pissing on the damn door-to-door salesman. And that's how he got the name Sonny.
Oh.
Yep.
Man.
He was up when the sun came up, pissing on the salesman.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
I've
Sonny
done door-to-door sales, and that would have sucked if that would have happened to me. Oh
Yep.
my goodness.
4 years old. Yep. Little Sonny. So but yeah, but back to, that's a little bit of history, but back to the current event, man. Yeah, like, so I would see shit like that or hear stuff like that, and then sometimes I'd be on the porch. I'll step off on the porch to get better reception, because the reception in my house sucks. So I have to step on the porch, whether it's daytime or nighttime. That's how I get my reception.
Okay.
So I'd be on the phone and be like, and it's like, I feel like something's looking at me. It's like, there's something out there. And I just get this weird feeling that something is looking at me through the woods, And I actually had that feeling last night. Wake up this morning, I'm coming down the driveway, and there's just like half of a tree peeled down into the like laying down. And I'm talking about, I seen the wood, like the meat of the wood, and it was completely white. Like, it wasn't rotted. It wasn't like, tore up. It was completely white, and it was bent down. It was just like this white meat just sticking out from the break. Because I'm looking at that. I'm waiting. I'm looking like, okay, maybe it's rotted out or something. No, it was completely fresh wood, but this whole branch is peeled down. All the trees are nice, and not the trees, all the leaves are nice and green. It's got like I'm talking about whatever tree it is, like the little flowers that on the tree, they're nice and bright and yellow. And I was just like, something tore that shit down. And what's wild about it,
We lose you?
Can you hear me?
Corbin, get back on your porch.
No, I'm in the car right now.
Oh,
Can you hear
okay.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Now, so what I was gonna say was, what's wild about it is, like the whatever, like bud, whatever little flower buds that are on that particular tree, they're all nice and yellow. And I'm like, this thing wasn't rotting, it wasn't dying at all, but here it is, snapped and laid down on top of the other the smaller bushes, next to my driveway.
So no burn marks from a lightning strike or anything?
Nope. It rained, but it was days ago. It rained like Friday. I think I want to say it rained like Thursday or Friday or so. And there's been no lightning strikes. There's been no burns or nothing like that. I woke up this morning, the ground's completely dry. There was no storm last night, and this thing's folded down next to the driveway.
Wow.
I was like, yeah. And remember the picture I sent you of that tree laying down across, like on the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was basically like the same thing as that, but it was, kind of one of the first, I'll say, markings that is done as far as folding trees down that it did before. Because I remember telling you that my uncle had seen a similar pattern where there was a tree high up and it was broke and folded down. Remember I told you about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like, that's basically what it did again, but in the driveway. And I think I want to say, like, like this thing is like zeroed in. Like, I think it's like I don't know, attracted. I don't want to, like, sound like, sexual, but I think it's attracted to like my uncle. It seems to do things that will like alert somebody that can alert my uncle. Whether my uncle sees it or somebody that he knows will see it and tell him about it. Always happens.
Wow. Wait a minute. Does your uncle wear high karate? Just curious.
High karate? What the fuck is high karate?
What? You
What
never
is
heard
high-
of? See, that's how old I am. High karate was like a cologne, and the commercials were always like girls would like love that smell or something.
I don't know. I mean, but there are females and male Bigfoot. So, but I don't know. I think there's really some really strange shit. I don't know. I have no idea why it's doing this, because like I said, the first time that I felt like it was definitely like, you know, trying to get the attention of my uncle at least, was the picture I showed you where the trees laid down across their four-wheeler riding trail. You know, it's like they were riding around midnight one night out there on their little trail situation, and then they came home, and then somebody said that, hey, I lost my phone. Let me go back and look for my. Can you go by back on the trail and look for my phone? So the next day they were like, okay, yeah, cool. So they went out at like maybe 12 hours later. It was probably like maybe about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning that following morning. And when they were going down the trail, right where they were riding at on that trail, a whole tree from the base of it is laid down across their four-wheeler riding trail.
Wow.
So yeah, like they know that it wasn't there before, because there's tracks where it went through where they were riding around that night. So they were like, oh my God, like, man, what could have done this? There was no, like, same thing, no storm. The wood was like, you know, and this was a way bigger tree than the one that broke down out here at my house right now. This one was like, you know, there was no reason for this. And if even in that case, it's like where it bit down at, it was like completely new wood. All the wood was like completely fresh and white, but it was snapped down at the base of it, like close to where the roots is at. Like, so it incredible force. But what trips me out about this one right here, there's the bushes that it's laid down across, that the top of this tree is laid down across. I can't see anything, like no kind of movement that something big would have went through the the bushes in order to get to the tree and go up to it. Like, because, you know, I'm thinking maybe a black bear, because black bears are indigenous to the area. So I'm thinking, okay, a black bear maybe went up, you know, and done it, but there's nothing's mashed down, you know. So that leads me to believe that whatever it was, and as high up as it was to not cause that, it reached across all that and snapped it down. Like, do you know what the wingspan on something like that would have to be? Yes, like to reach across like 7 feet, snap it, and just lay it down without bothering any of the stuff that's up under it around the where the trees, you know, standing at. It didn't so it basically was standing in the driveway, reached across, and then snapped it down and then took off.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
Maybe a big black bear climbed up it and it was too heavy and it split the thing.
Okay, that would make sense, but then it's like, why wasn't anything tore up around it?
Wait a minute. I just remembered something my daughter told me. It was a joke. She said, Dad, why don't you ever see elephants hiding up in trees? I said, I don't know. Why not? She said, because they're very, very good at it. So you might have had an elephant hiding in
Yeah, exactly. You know, you'd have, yeah. You know what? Yeah, definitely. You have to go beyond logic to make it illogical. Like, it's I don't know, man. Like,
sometimes dad jokes are the answer. I don't know.
Shit. Or a answer, maybe not the, but a.
A funny answer.
Right.
But that's interesting. So it could be. Now, was there any, like, did you smell anything foul? I mean, those guys stink. So maybe if it was a Bigfoot and he did do that, maybe it left some kind of scent or some kind of hair. Maybe you want to go out there and look for hair.
Okay, all right, I'll check it out, because like I was in the car when I seen it. So I'll definitely check it out tomorrow. Like, you know, first thing before I go to work, I'll first of all, I'll get a video of it. Now, like I said, this particular tree, it's a smaller tree. Like, it's really small. Like, you know, like it's a tree, but it's not like some kind of like an oak or some shit like that. It's not, or a pecan tree or anything like that. It's not nothing. It's not, or a pine. It's not nothing like that. But it's still a tree nevertheless. And like I said, where it's broke at, it's high up. You know, it was fresh wood, you know, at the break, and that was the only part of it that was broke down. Like, it was really strange.
Wow.
Like why did it just break that? Like there's another, like where it broke at, there's another section.
Okay.
If it was something that was just going up there unintelligibly, it would have broke that whole thing flat across. You feel me? It wouldn't have just grabbed that one part and broke that down. Like, if it was the body weight of like a giant animal that happened to scale this, you know, this smaller tree and get up there before it broke, it would have broke it clear at that point, not a section of it.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah. So,
you know, I know that Native Indians, they would like break open branches and they take the stuff inside, like the core of the wood, and they chew it like gum. So maybe Bigfoots do that too.
Yeah, maybe, you know what? It's very possible, man. And like, we're just seeing that. But even still, like, the fact that it likes to hang out around, like, you know, my family out there is really weird.
Yeah, we gotta get you some motion sensor cameras to put out there.
Yeah, it's getting to that point, man. I mean, like right now, like I'm at the tail end of like a legal thing with the land, but I mean, I just met with the lawyers, so I think it looks like it's about to go down, you know, and like the land up there will be officially mine. And
wow.
Right, and it's like thanks. And that's kind of like one of the things I was waiting on. I didn't want to do it before then because like what happens, you know, everything goes to shit, then I gotta take it all down, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, so
that's good to hear. I wish you all the luck in the world on that. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. Especially the times we're dealing with, man. You know, and then another thing too, like I'm gonna have I'm being that everything's getting kind of crazy, as you see with the whole like, you know, social political, you know, landscape. I'm thinking, you know, I kind of want to go over the federal government's head and get a allodial land deed, because a allodial land deed is like it's basically like almost like an intergalactic land deed, like one that like supersedes like all like laws of man type thing.
Really?
Oh yeah, an allodial. Yeah, I mean it's like, yeah, you can't with an allodial land deed, you own everything from the grass all the way to the core of the earth of that section. Yes.
Really? And even all the minerals and inside and all that.
Yes, anything, even the water running under it, like anything that, yes.
Even like, the alien base under it.
Yes, that's another thing. If there's something up under there, then that's all right. Exactly. An allodial. Yeah. You basically, you like, you know, chilling up with the Middle Earthlings at that point, you know.
Well, hey, if anyone wants a DUM, a deep underground military base, all they gotta do is, because I heard the whole state of New Mexico is like a giant base, military base. So you could take a plot property there and get that land deed, and then you can say, hey, I got the cafeteria of the reptilians. Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, it could work like that. Honestly, like it's to the core of the earth. Like I forgot. Oh my God. Maxwell Jordan is the one that I listened to, and he talked about it.
Okay. Wow. Interesting.
You know who he is?
No, I'm writing it down.
Oh shit. Yeah, he's a big truther, dude on that level. Yeah.
You're not talking about Jordan Sather.
No. I'm not talking about him. Like, he's cool for some things, but then some things I'm just like, man, this motherfucker's just so jaded. Like, I can't fuck with him too much. But Jordan Maxwell. He's on the wave. He dropped that information. And what's wild about it is that, weirdly enough, like, he was on a podcast and it was a live. And at the time, like all this is going on with my land. And like the live had already started. And as soon as I went into the live, he was talking about that, and it was somewhere in the middle of the live. Like he was talking about, like, if it had been, 10 minutes after or 10 minutes before, he wouldn't have been talking about it,
Okay.
So it's just so wild how he was talking about something like that I'm very interested in at that moment when the live popped up.
Wow. Interesting. I'll check that out. That's good. That's good news. Yeah. And so our buddy Corbin needs a motion sensor camera. So we need to like get a fundraiser going for him, get him a motion sensor camera, get some of that on footage.
Yeah, that would actually be cool. And then probably at that wherever that 4-wheeler trail is, I would like to put some up there too, because like that land doesn't belong to like my family directly, but my I have an older cousin that's like 60 something, and that's his land. He's got like 20 acres on the back of ours, and that's where that 4-wheeler trail is. And I could probably set some shit up there, and he wouldn't have a problem with it. So, so I mean, if y'all are down to put something, put something towards that, what I'm saying, me and Aaron will make sure, because I mean, that would be really awesome to put something up there, and we can actually get some things on camera.
Yeah, ideally, in today's day and age, I mean, you should be able to wake up in the morning and go, oh my gosh, this tree broke. I wonder what happened. Well, let me go check Google Maps and dial in the exact time and watch the
activity,
the fast motion, oh, well, look, there's a bear, or there's a Bigfoot, or there's an elephant. There's an elephant. Aaron was right.
Yeah. There's an elephant. Matter of fact, there's a black bear giving the elephant a boost. Get up in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Abby's asking in the chat, Aaron, can you ask him where in the country, please? So I think they're wondering where you are in the country. I don't know if you want to reveal it.
I'm in I mean, I'm on the 33rd parallel.
33rd parallel. Wow.
I mean flat on the 33rd parallel. I'm at Hope, Arkansas. I'm in the
Hope, Arkansas. Yeah. That sounds familiar.
Home of Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And it's like where I live is like right. I would say probably about a mile or two. I'd say maybe about 3 miles from the Hope Airport, which is actually like supposed to be like a real big powerhouse in the 33rd parallel.
Wow. And that's Bill Clinton. That's just to be clear, that's the same Bill Clinton that didn't inhale, right?
Right, that one. Yeah, the one that didn't inhale. Yeah, that one. But yeah, that dude. But yeah, so it really doesn't really shock me too much that all this is kind of happening around where I'm at.
Wow.
Yeah, because they don't build anything, CIA, FBI related, deep state related without some kind of like, on some kind of like ley line power grid or something like that. They put everything for a purpose wherever it's at to like help enact or enable, or I guess you could say bring about what their plan is. So I think that's part of why these things happen in these places. Because I think like, I think stuff like this, it would be happening if they didn't build it there. It's not like they're the cause of it. But what it is they like to try to like repurpose like the energy centers of the planet. So, from the smallest level to the largest. So.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, it's wild. If you look at the map of like the 33rd parallel, it runs right. It's like dead slap on it, like the middle of it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So are there any Masons living in that 33rd?
Oh my God! Of course, man. Of course.
I just thought of. You got those Mason jars, right? Are mason jars some sort of
Hey,
magic?
yeah, I would think so, man. I mean, like this shit is like you do realize these motherfuckers are like straight up like witches and warlocks and whatever, like occult practitioners. Like it's embedded in everything. Like they've been trained even on a subconscious level to like move in that way, you know. Like right. It's almost kind of like they're basically like occult zombie. They're like druidic zombies.
Mhm.
You know, like they walk around through life, performing rituals, without even thinking about it. You know,
People that would grow horns if they could, right?
yep, yes, yeah, basically. Like if they could, like, honestly, like I think, they don't like their horns are invisible because the horns, I think they symbolize like, a certain tune. If you notice a tuning fork is a horn shape.
Mm,
Yeah, the tuning fork looks like two horns.
okay.
So it's like basically, it's like the horns you don't see. It's like their frequency,
Mhm.
their tuning is that of a horn type situation.
Okay.
Also too, I was also thinking, because if you think about it, what the pitchfork, you know what I mean? Like, they call it a pit, like, yeah, you can pitch something with the fork, but think about it, a pitchfork, pitch, tuning, pitch.
There you go.
You see, pitchfork.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tuning fork,
Wow.
pitchfork, same shit. It's like, it's weird. You see how they do? See, it's like, yeah, once you start like, paying attention to like the words, which words are spells, you start like everything starts unraveling. But
Mhm.
speaking on that, I don't know if does anybody in here know about the Zoroastrian religion. I forgot exactly what the name of it is, but it's Zoro something religion. It's an Abrahamic religion.
I've heard something about that. Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Do you know what they worship, or a part of one of their worshiping rituals is basically burning bullshit?
Well, they could get a lot of that from CNN.
Yeah, yeah, right. But but like that's, you're joking, but that's part of it. They get their power from bullshit.
Hmm.
That's like a symbolic source of power for them. They got that, like they basically have like an eternal flame type situation where they get some bullshit and they burn the cow dung and they keep it going for as long as they can, and it's supposed to be like, endowed with like, mystical energy, and it won't go out, like the flame will stay burning. And that's, so that's where the term holy shit comes from. you know
Wow. Holy
yeah,
shit. Really?
yeah, holy shit, literally they worship this shit. you
Holy
know
shit.
right.
Holy
Okay.
shit.
Yeah, so also, so yeah, so that's something to think about. And like I said, it's like, how do they control us? They control us because they trick us into putting our energy into bullshit and making that bullshit, I guess you could say, govern our lives. Like you
Wow.
said, the CNN thing, they wouldn't be able to get any of this shit done if they weren't using our willpower and our creative energy
Mhm.
subconsciously to enact this shit.
They were. I heard CNN only has 1 million viewers now.
See,
And those are probably, at nursing homes and, places where people might not even be watching it.
right, exactly. It's all they're coming to people like us, for the information, or you more directly.
Or
Yeah,
Red Pill 78, or,
yeah.
BCPs. Have you ever listened to BCP?
No, I don't even know who that is.
Black Conservative Patriot?
Okay, I've heard the
Open
name.
Source News. He's really good. And
Yeah.
actually, he's got his daughter and his son doing it now. They're really good.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. See, I've heard the name. I haven't heard it abbreviated or acronym.
He actually does a really good job. I
All right.
like the way he does the news. He's a pretty cool guy.
All right, I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so yeah, that's just wild how, like, because that's basically what they do. They get their energy from, basically, from bullshit, literally.
Okay.
In many forms of that, like, whether it's false mood, news, whether it's literally burning, cow manure inside of a pot, they basically get their power like that. Also, I was gonna say too, I found out, like, being that said, alcohol.
Yeah.
What is alcohol? It's also shit.
It's poison.
But listen, it's actually shit. It's the shit from yeast.
Wow. That's the yeast it could do, huh?
Right, the yeast it can do. But you see how that's wild? How that's you see it's the excrement. We're actually you see the what happens when that's why they call it a spirit. Because it goes back to the Zoroastrian, the Abrahamic religion of like Zoroastrianism. It goes back to that. Like the alcohol actually is like something that they worship, because it's also a form of flame. It's also a form of flame because it's like a smokeless flame. They call it a spirit. And what is one of the alcohols? Gin. Like a genie. A gin.
Gin's made from pine trees.
It's actually not.
Isn't it?
It's actually what you're tasting and what you're smelling is juniper.
Oh, that's kind of like a pine tree.
Yes, it's in that family. Yeah, but to be more specific, because I was always thinking that too. I was like, I know what people say. I was like, it's like pine, but then not kind. I was like, let me look this up, and then they said it's the juniper. I was like, okay, it's actually juniper is what you're tasting. Okay. It's juniper mixed with citrus, and if
juniper sounds like a cool name to name somebody. Juniper.
Yeah, like a girl or something. Juniper. Yeah. I almost want to say I've heard that in a cartoon or something like that before. A girl named Juniper.
Now, Sandy Sue 22 says, Aaron, ask Phoenix if he knows about the Devil's Den area and the UFO incident.
It sounds familiar, but not right off. What's up?
Okay. I don't know. She didn't say anything more. So, well, I got a couple more callers in the queue. So, is there anything else you want to say in closing to our friends here?
No, not right off. I mean, I just want, I guess everybody just look up a little bit, a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's getting to the point now where you can, almost see something every night you look up, whether it's a meteor or whether it's something a little bit more intelligent. It's getting like that with me, like at least once or twice a week, I'll see something that could be identified as a unidentified flying object. And it's only that they're only there for a little bit, and then they're out of phase. I'll see it, it'll be going across the sky, and then it'll whoop, so it's like you gotta look up. Like, I mean, I know it might seem corny, but every once in a while, just sit there and just say, you know what, I'm gonna give it 10 minutes and just look up at the open sky, especially if you live somewhere that isn't densely populated or doesn't have a lot of light pollution. Just look up, just give yourself 10 minutes, every other day or as much as you can at night, and then see what you see. And and then sometimes, it could be things a little bit more terrestrial, like, Bigfoot wanted to play games with tree markings. So, but anyway, man, it's good talking to you, man. Good talking to y'all, man.
Good talking to you too. We'll have to have you on the show again sometime. We'll be in touch.
Okay, I'm gonna send you some video and pictures tomorrow, man.
Okay, thanks.
Oh yeah. All right, man. See y'all. Love y'all.
Take care. Love you too, mate, buddy. Take care.
All right, peace.
All right. Corbin Phoenix, the one and only Corbin Phoenix. And now I'm going to bring in Austin, and we have Caillou Harris after that. So Austin's probably connecting to his audio. Are you there, Austin?
Yeah, I'm here. That was very interesting from Corbin Phoenix. That was extremely interesting about the Bigfoot.
I He's been on the show a couple of times. See if you want to scroll back and look at some of the shows that he was in. Yeah, very interesting guy. Interesting guy.
I'd seen this on I think it was a TV documentary, but someplace in the northwest, Pacific Northwest, where they have Bigfoot sightings, allegedly. And this is not just alleged; they had pictures of it, had images on their documentary. But there were trees that had been uprooted, and then the uprooted tree had been turned upside down and driven down into the ground.
Wow.
And they said that basically you'd have to go out there in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere, far from any roads, with a crane in order to be able to do that if it was fake.
Right.
I mean, you'd have to somehow move a crane out there to uproot the tree, and then there would be no physical way to make it go down in the ground like that again.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they couldn't. It was inexplicable. But the explanation offered on this TV show was that the Bigfoot had just uprooted a tree and then re-put it in the ground upside down as a way of marking territory. Because allegedly those critters are territorial.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty interesting.
So this might correlate with something like that. And maybe the Bigfoots in other parts of the country have similar but different ways of marking their territory. But
yeah,
that occurred to me. And anyway, I called in because I didn't think anybody else was calling in. And then of course you had Corbin. He had a lot more interesting stuff to say than I have. But
wait, why do you say that?
Do you want to go on to your next caller?
No, you were talking
okay.
about you're talking about a fiction writer in the chat. I can't remember who it was. It was a short name, Jack something, or what was it?
Well, let's see. There was I talked about previously. Somebody mentioned the movie Metropolis, which was the original dystopian movie.
Right.
And it was a German movie made early to mid 1920s. It might have been 25 or 26, but it was an early silent movie, but beautifully done special effects. One of the first big budget special effects movies ever made.
Yeah.
And this dystopian theme in it, that with the robot gal, the robot tricks. That the first movie, sexy sci-fi robot girl. And it was a fascinating movie, but the same producer.
Yeah.
The same producer of this movie that somebody mentioned also produced The Frau im Mond, or the Woman in the Moon, or Woman on the Moon, which was the first attempt to make a serious space travel movie. Now, of course, space travel is an old fantasy. I mean, but space travel themed stories were always just fantasy things, not intended to be taken very seriously. But this one actually shows a multi-stage rocket going to the moon.
Wow.
And again, it was made after Metropolis, but it was a special effects heavy science fiction movie produced by Fritz Lang, and written by the same writer as wrote Metropolis, his wife, Thea von Harbo. And so there was two of these science fiction movies that Fritz Lang was responsible for in Germany, but then the Nazis came to power and he had to move to the USA, and he took quite a financial hit when he did that. And I think he directed movies in Hollywood, but he never got to do a big budget movie again his way. So that was his accomplishment back in the 1920s.
Right. Now that Metropolis outfit that the robot outfit that actress was wearing was very well done. I mean, it was like C-3PO. It's
very similar, yes. C-3PO is like her grandchild, her distant cousin, or her grandchild, maybe grandchild.
Yeah, the style,
the similarity, and
the design of it, and the actually making of it, and to have it worn and someone's moving and it looks natural. I mean, that's not easy to do. So they pulled.
Yeah, all of that was just groundbreaking. It was nothing else seen before, and it's
But
Also had one of the early cinematic nude scenes.
But wouldn't you say that there was an awful lot of symbolism in that movie?
I didn't quite. Yeah, it's sort of a political message in it, but it was kind of awfully weak political message. I mean, it seemed to be like a metaphor for communism, the struggle between the haves and have-nots in this dystopian future society, and then the big conclusion is that you have to have the heart as your mediator between the head and the hands.
Mm-hmm.
was the big message at the end of the movie.
Yeah. But I remember seeing in the set designs there'd be symbolism, like occult, Satanist symbolism everywhere.
Well, the future society was a very, very dark one, because the haves were all these lazy characters who were overdressed in their well, let's see, what's the term, the high hats and spats and white ties. Well, there's some song that has the theme of a 20s era dandy in his evening. What do they call that? I can't even remember what that type of clothing is called, because I don't. But the formal dress, like tuxedos of the era, are shown for the haves who seem to be lazy and indolent and love to party, and then the have-nots, the workers, are just work like slaves, and they're absolutely just ground under by the labor they have to do to keep all that society functioning.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's these two absolutes: the people at the top who have everything, and the people on the bottom who have nothing. And there's no middle class in that society, which
right.
seems improbable that something like that could last very long. But of course, in the movie, the society breaks down; it collapses. And it had the classic sci-fi pulp mad scientist as a flesh and blood character. They had that, the guy Rotwang, who creates the female robot called the Robotrix, and she's like this vamp who's going to seduce men and destroy society.
Yeah.
Typical 1920s era silliness. It's over dramatized silliness, but it is overall it's a very, very dark movie. And when they released it in the United States, it was a long movie for a silent film, so it was cut. And the cut version in the USA, they did such a poor job of editing that it was virtually impossible to really follow the movie very well in its USA form. It was not well edited, and it was very confusing to audiences the way it was put together for US audiences, and since it's a silent movie, there's really no excuse for that kind of ineptitude. But silent films were much, much easier to translate. I mean, you've just got these message boards that appear on the screen, to continue conversations, and or a subtitle or something, and that's relatively easy to do compared to a sound movie where you have to dub in conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So silent movies were truly international. I mean, Douglas Fairbanks was a popular actor in Asia. I mean, the Dalai Lama in Tibet, some of the first movies he ever saw were silent movies from the USA.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So these things were pretty fascinating in their time. But that's what I remembering about Fritz Lang. And both those movies appeared on DVD not some years ago. I collected both of them and watched them. And the DVD Metropolis was a restored version. Like I say, the editing was terrible on the original theatrical release, and they thought it was lost for years because the original film prints had all been destroyed in Allied bombing in World War II. But there were film vaults elsewhere in the world that had some old silent movies, and these were it was possible to reconstruct a better edited version for English language watchers from these, and that's what's on DVD nowadays. I assume, I suppose.
But if you watch
I
it
can
again,
barely.
if you watch it again, I'm sure you'll see that all the symbolism I'm talking about. It's quite in your face, and you can't not see it. Yeah, but there's the robot there. I found this on the intranet. It's a picture.
Yeah, the ultimate sci-fi fan was a man named Forrest J. Ackerman. He for years and years he was editor of Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine.
Okay.
And he had a house in Hollywood called the Ackerman that he called the Acker Mansion, which had his collection of science fiction memorabilia. And he had the robot girl's suit there, the Robotrix.
Okay.
I think it was a replica. I don't think it was the original, but the replica was spectacularly well made.
Wow. Yeah. It's it is very reminiscent of C-3PO.
Yeah, they're very, very similar. The Star Wars movie, they did an excellent job of just adapting various images from a lot of the great old pulp science fiction adventure stories from like 30s and 40s era. And that's why I love that stuff so much, and why the earlier Star Wars movies I really enjoy a bit more than I've enjoyed any of the recent ones. The recent ones seem to be a lot darker and a lot moodier and just not as watchable for me.
Right, me too. Yeah.
Not as great as the original three.
Here's another shot of that Metropolis robot girl, female robot that was supposed to be able to keep the workers' minds on their work and just her, and she was like their little treat to look at.
Well, I think the party scenes were all with the rich guys who seem to. The rich guys all seem to be patterned after P.G. Woodhouse's Bertie Wooster. They're drones. They're drones, and she becomes their queen bee.
Yeah. Wow. See, there's the danger of AI, friends. If you see a girl like that, say no. Okay. Goodbye.
Well, in the movie, I think she could change her appearance. She gave herself like the glamour of a beautiful woman, and then does this wild hoochie coochie dance, and all the men watching go completely crazy.
Yeah,
the scene was supposed to be powerful, dramatic, and sexy, and it was. You watch it now and you kind of laugh at it. It's very, very 1920s era.
Yeah.
Decadent culture, and that it was kind of captured some of the mood of what I've read about Weimar Republic Germany in Berlin, where they were supposed to have been the world's most decadent society.
Well, I think also it's kind of like how how when American troops were overseas fighting, and they'd send like Marilyn Monroe or some actress to sing for the troops, kind of like to keep their. I think this is the same kind of thing. They got this robot girl to kind of like do that same thing for the workers. So it keeps them, under control.
Yeah, and the storyline of the movie, the robot's created by this mad scientist named Rotwang, who had kidnapped this beautiful girl named Maria in order to use her life energy to energize his robot.
Wow. Yeah, it's a pretty dark movie. A friend of mine, Thomas from True Reporting, did a show where they were like watching it with his co-host, and they got to some point in the movie where the co-host could not watch it anymore. It was too full of symbolism. They had to stop watching it. It was just
now that's interesting, because I haven't really heard about people having that kind of negative reaction to it. I haven't really heard of that.
Watch it again. You'll be surprised. It just shows you how, and this is one of the first, like you said, first big budget movies, how the cabal people, the Illuminati or whatever you want to call them, how they just throw that stuff in there, throw it in people's faces to affect the masses. they want this future of this, industrialized people and machines and false realities and all that crazy.
Yeah, it would be ironic if they were identifying with the movie's bad guy, the mad scientist Rotwang. That would be I guess typical of them, really typical. That you present. I mean, like you watch a Star Wars movie and you want to become Jabba the Hutt. That's what that's like.
I wouldn't want to be Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, but I've seen people who seem to be that type.
Oh boy, yeah, that's terrible. It's much better to be a good guy. That's what I say. Be a good guy.
Yeah, I drink enough of that boxed wine and I become Jabba for a while.
Oh no. Yeah, that was a crazy character, that Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, let's see.
Pizza
My other comment was Charles Fort. Charles Fort. I'd remarked on Charles Fort's metaphor about the naked guy appearing in the park, and how the police had to quickly cover him up. And so that's analogous to the scientific community trying to cover up paranormal events because they're embarrassed by them.
Yeah,
embarrassed by the nakedness of those facts.
That's right.
I didn't go into how Fort interpreted that story from Central Park, the story itself, without editorializing about and using it as a metaphor.
Right.
But Fort believed, or he said he believed, in his book Low, he said he believed that man. Now, they found the man in the park. He wasn't wearing a stitch of clothes, and he could not speak any recognizable human language, but he was speaking a language.
Mm-hmm.
Police didn't know what to do with him, and they ended up sending him to a mental hospital.
Right.
That's all there was in the newspaper about it. So what the rest of what we have is Fort's interpretation. Fort believed that this was a case of teleportation. And what makes that unique is that Charles Fort, supposedly, I've read, Charles Fort is the man who coined the term teleportation.
Ah. Interesting.
He invented that term just to apply to cases like this. Something appears from nowhere with no explanation, or something disappears and there's no explanation. So the man appeared in the park. He's not wearing any clothes. He can't speak a known language. Fort said the guy was teleported here from someplace else, some other world. And the process that transported him, whatever that process is in nature that did that to him, it didn't work on his clothes. That would be a hell of a way to transit to some totally unknown world. You arrive there naked as a jaybird.
Well, maybe where he's from, that's a natural thing. I mean, a lot of the aliens you see.
Well, there's that as well. That's another question, though. That's valid. That could be. I mean, that's a reasonable question, but that's the way Charles Fort would look at a thing like this, though. He would say the guy got teleported, and whatever process it was did not apply to clothing or inanimate objects around him, just him. And
Well,
that was Charles Fort's way of looking at such things.
If that happened to me, I'd at least look for a fig leaf or something.
Yeah. It's hard to find fig trees in Central Park.
Is it?
But Fort had 4 books. First was called The Book of the Damned. Okay. And the damned in this case were paranormal events that science had damned because they wouldn't. He claimed that he was investigating the unexplained, and science just explains the uninvestigated. Was Fort's view on that. And the Book of the Damned introduces his concepts, and is brief and highly readable. And then the second book in the series is called Low, which is a bit more intense. But Fort has this terrific sense of humor that kind of lightens it up when it becomes a bit depressing. So Low is a lot of fun to read too. It's his second book. His third book was called New Lands. And in New Lands, he devoted himself to attacking astronomy, which was pretty preposterous to me, but Fort was trying to trying to find ways to explain teleportations, which he believed were real events. And so what he played around with was the idea that maybe cosmic objects are really closer than we're told they are. That maybe the size scale astronomers use is all wrong. He was trying to make his teleportation idea seem more plausible, and instead he kind of pulled the rug out from under himself, I think. But New Lands has as its other premise that there are out there in space places where people can and do live. That Fort uses metaphor that the people of Europe before 1492 lived in a very small world, and then Columbus discovers the Americas, and suddenly there are new lands, and the world gets a whole lot bigger from their subjective perspective. And Fort believed that this was going to happen when we visit other planets. Our whole universe gets much, much bigger. And there are people out there. Fort was quite insistent on that. He didn't coin the term ufology, but he could be considered the pioneer ufologist.
Interesting.
That was his third book, New Lands. And then his fourth and final book was called Wild Talents. And Wild Talents was about people who had extraordinary abilities or had extraordinary things happening around them, like poltergeist cases, but also people with strange gifts. And to me, Wild Talents is kind of the precursor of the X-Men. It's kind of the same ideas we find in comic book superheroes in a book that was written and published in the 1930s, before there were any. But anyway, those were Charles Fort's books, which I had mentioned but hadn't gone into much detail about.
I posted one of the pictures of one of his books, the New Lands. I posted that picture.
Yeah, and that's an interesting picture on the cover too, because it's kind of what he was talking about. He thought there was just stuff out there, lots of spaceships and lots of like flying islands, like Laputa in the Gulliver's Travels book. Stuff like that was real in Charles Fort's mind.
I want to show you this picture that Corbin Phoenix sent on my messenger on Facebook. This is on the right here. You see what these gentlemen found a long time ago, I think in the 1800s, in Indian burial mounds, these tall, very tall Native American Indians, or at least they were in America, I think in some lake in Wisconsin, I think. I can't remember what it was called. Some lake in Wisconsin, they found this mound, but he juxtaposes it to this image of this girl, I think, who becomes this Avatar in the movie Avatar. It's almost the same kind of. I
recognize the Avatar blue girl, but the one to the left of her, I don't recognize, unless that's the actress that they were starring in that.
That could be. I don't know, but have you ever seen this picture of this mummified remains of this being?
I haven't seen this specific picture now, but I've seen similar things. Now, there are a number of books on this. I don't collect them. The Giants controversy hasn't interested me that much because it's so frustrating. See, there you see it in a photograph. And yeah. I don't believe that's a fake picture. You don't believe that, or you wouldn't be showing it.
No.
I mean, nobody in our chat probably thinks that's faked.
No.
It'd be awfully hard to make a fake like that. It looks awfully convincing. Okay, so it's real. All right. A real record there of something. You'd think those remains could be studied today, maybe some DNA analysis or something done with them to get some answers about what's going on there. You think they could do that. They can't. Those remains are gone.
Well, there's contention that the Smithsonian and various other places where stuff like this gets sent to, they destroyed everything that related to giants because they didn't want it. It didn't fit conveniently into their scientific model. And
yeah, the whole that's been I've read the same thing, and I remember hearing a conversation about it. Someone had written a book had been on the Coast to Coast radio show years ago talking about the giants, how case after case of these newspaper stories, often with photographs like this, showing clear evidence of a race of giants, and case after case where the evidence would be sent to the Smithsonian for further analysis, and case after case where it disappears and the scientists deny ever seeing it or touching it or examining it or doing anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
It just goes down another phrase from a fiction novel, it goes down the memory hole from 1984,
Mm-hmm.
where you just make whole blocks of facts and figures disappear because they're inconvenient to you or they don't fit your beliefs about reality.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been done to all this stuff, to just wipe out a whole chapter of human history.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we will assume these giants are human. They look human. They just look like giant humans.
Yeah,
But
well,
you're not supposed to believe there ever was such a thing.
well, it's not just dead giants that we find pictures of, and I got one coming up here. Where did it go? Here it is. Okay, clicked on that, and take a look at this. I found this just recently, a little while ago, and it's a very old picture, but it shows what appears to be a normally sized human man next to two very tall men who, on top of it all, have very tall hats to make them even look more tall. But these are real living people. And, I've seen many different pictures and accounts of living people who were this size or maybe even a little bit bigger, like Andre the Giant. He was a wrestler. And there's plenty of footage of him. He was a real person. So the fact that some of these skeletons can't be believed when you have something like this, where there's actual living people, barring any photographic, nonsense, but it looks like they're at like a circus or some kind of, tallest men in the world thing, exhibition possibly. I don't know where that is or what it is.
Yeah, I saw that picture somewhere years and years ago, and I can't remember the caption that went with it. You're right, it does look like a circus environment in the background, but if I'm not mistaken, that was the cover illustration on a book called Men and Gods in Mongolia.
Okay.
Which supposedly some explorer in Mongolia, and there were some real tall people where he was.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you look at contemporary current images from Mongolia, and that place, I mean, I think they're on the web and part of civilization. They're not out of reach. You don't find unusually tall people there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know the whole backstory behind this. I haven't read the book.
Yeah, I don't know the backstory behind any of these either. They're just interesting photographs. Here's one of another very tall giant. You could consider this man a giant. He's twice as tall, almost twice as tall as people around him. And he's at a hat shop. It looks like he found a nice little hat for himself to make him even taller. Look at that. You wouldn't want a short profiled hat for a tall guy. Make me taller, will you? I need a big hat.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Look at this guy. I guess he's always been looked up to, huh? Look at that guy.
And that's curious also. That looks like it's circa World War I or maybe before World War I, would be my guess. But again, he may be standing next to an unusually short person. He's an unusually tall guy standing next to an unusually short guy, maybe, because
well, there's a bunch of guys back here.
I find it hard to believe he's 10 feet tall.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people.
I can't remember Guinness Book of World Records what the record was for the tallest human on record. It might have been upwards of 9 feet. It's possible, but I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, there's endless amounts of photos of people like this, and like I said, Andre the Giant was another one, very big fella.
There are diseases which can produce giantism.
Right.
I mean, things going wrong with the pituitary.
Or
that can do that.
Maybe it's a throwback, or maybe it's a throwback to when the humans were bigger.
Yeah. Now, the legends of giants, the mythical giants, they're not just taller than people, they're stronger. They're
Mhm.
stronger, they're taller, and they're meaner. They're the bad guys in story after story from mythology.
Mhm.
And that doesn't fit the pattern of unusually tall people in today's world. I mean, the police don't go looking for them because of their potential danger to society. That just does not happen, or at least hasn't happened in recent past. I don't know anything's possible now, but I mean that's the giantism in terms of the ancient giants. It's different. It's something different. And the
Well-
Smithsonian and conventional science won't look at the evidence and won't consider it. But I mean, I've read that when they would find these skulls of these giant beings, these anomalous skulls that were really big, they'd find that the individual had like a double row of teeth in his mouth,
Yep.
like some sharks have.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit scary.
Yeah.
And then the legends, the giants, many of the giants, if not most of them, feast on human flesh. I mean,
Yeah.
they consider us to be their prey. That was a part of these mythical stories as well. So characters like Jack the Giant Killer were heroes.
And David. Thank goodness for David.
Yeah, and David versus Goliath is the biblical example.
Yep. Yep. That's what that is. So that's some of the tall people, which could be considered giants. Some living, some mummified. I think it's a good argument for the fact that there were taller people at one point in time. Maybe when a lot of the animals were bigger. I mean, all the animals were bigger in the past. Think about it. I mean, every single animal you can think of was bigger
And
in the past.
I've come across there's a man named Ted Holden who had a website. I don't know if it's still there or not. I read this years and years ago, so I don't know if the website still exists. But a man named Ted Holden had a theory. He was contending that what we've been taught in physics class about gravity is wrong. Gravity is a dependent variable. That it's a side product of electromagnetic phenomenon, and it's not a separate force of nature. So over time, the gravitational constant hasn't been constant at all. It's varied. So Ted Holden was maintaining that in the age of the dinosaurs, gravity was a bit less than what we experience.
Sure.
The age
And
of the dinosaurs were bigger because they could get bigger.
And the atmosphere was different. It had probably more oxygen and it was thicker. So a lot of creatures, it's said, could exist just by breathing in that nutrient-rich air because they had so much stuff in it.
Yeah, there was a thicker atmosphere. The gravity was different, and it was just a very different environment that these dinosaurs lived in. What fascinated me was an illustration Ted Holden had on his website. I don't know if this still exists or not, but on the website, he tried to imagine what dinosaurs would look like if they had survived to today. His belief was that when the gravity changes, the evolution makes everything get a little smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So your giants their descendants are smaller beings. So what would the dinosaurs look like today? And the dinosaurs today, like the big dinosaurs, like the Apatosaurus or the Diplodocus, those big ones, those sauropod types, and the Tyrannosaur, scaled down to today's climate and today's gravity, they'd be in the same size range, maybe a little bit bigger than elephants or a little bit bigger than a giraffe, but in that same general size range. And Ted Holden said on his website, we have sighting reports from Africa of such creatures. The Congo legend of the Mekele beast that looks just like a sauropod dinosaur, like a Brachiosaurus or an Apatosaurus, has been sighted in the Congo, allegedly. At least according to native legends, it's there. Natives who have seen pictures of dinosaurs say, I saw a critter like that. It's out there. It exists out there. But no white explorers ever managed to see one. So It's it's a bit hearsay, but it's there. The story's there if you can look it up.
Okay. Interesting.
But that was on Ted Holden's website, and also the Electric Universe website used to have some stuff about gravity changing. I don't know if they still do or not. I haven't looked that up in a long, long time.
That's something.
But I love that picture that showed what the dinosaurs would look like if they had survived down to the present day, and they were proportioned like what you would call normal animals.
Well, I
They were
heard.
proportioned normally by our standard of normality.
Okay. I heard, and I don't remember where I heard this from, quite a long time ago, that if you ever wanted to dissect a Tyrannosaurus Rex, look real carefully the next time you eat chicken, because they had the same bone and muscle structure. Now, the Tyrannosaurus Rex wasn't the only dinosaur with those proportions. There were all different type of sizes of that type of dinosaur. So one of them could have very easily shrunk down to the chicken size. And, feathers are nothing but modified scales. So a feather is a modified scale. So as it got colder, these scales modified, they split, they retain more heat, and then eventually they helped them to glide and fly.
Yeah, some illustrators have been recently, and this is just a very recent thing, but illustrating dinosaurs with feathers,
Yep.
showing them with feathers, saying that they really did have feathers, that they were direct ancestors to the modern birds.
Yeah, and
The bird
sometimes
is-
you listen to some of these crows and some of these birds, they sound like dinosaurs. They sound
Yeah,
like
you really get that effect when if there's a hawk in your neighborhood, like a big
Yeah.
hawk,
okay.
crows will harass it. Crows will gather and try to scare it off and get it to move out of their territory. Crows hate hawks, it seems, and they'll make a lot of noise, and you'll get that effect. You'll hear that.
Oh. Okay, here's a sound of a red-tailed hawk. I've never heard this before. I just looked it up. So I'm just going to play the audio here to see if it comes through. Okay. So yeah, a lot of times I'll hear birds and I'm like, that sounds like a dinosaur. And it just reinforces in my mind that that's what happened. Okay, here's the video. It's not very loud. Well, that's not a very good sound. Well, anyway, well, that was.
There's still another caller waiting.
Yes, there is.
Oh, okay. I'll sign on out. Good to talk to you, Aaron.
Great to talk to you. Thanks for calling in, Austin. Always a
Okay.
pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Aaron.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right. And now Caillou Harris has been very patient. So he's joining us now. Mr. Harris?
Yep.
There he is. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? What's up, Aaron?
I'm doing good. Long time no hear. Good to hear you
Yeah.
again.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, to see you hanging out in the show. I always wanted to call in, but I had lost contact with you guys for a while, and I've been having bad service on my phone. So that's probably why you haven't heard from me. So I'm glad I'm back, and I'm glad I got contact with you guys again.
Okay, great. Good to hear you. What's
yeah.
up?
Your last caller that was just calling in, he said something interesting when he was talking about the old silent films from the silent era. I remember It was several that I seen. I didn't actually watch the whole ones, but I know of several like Metropolis. He mentioned Nosferatu, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, Gollum, things like that. And I heard a rumor, I don't know if it's true, about the Nosferatu film, that the director of it, F.W. Murnau, had hired an actor, which was Max Schreck, to play the vampire. And I don't know if it's true, but I heard the rumor that the actor who played Nosferatu, Max Schreck, was actually a real vampire portraying an actor to play a vampire. So I don't know if that's true.
Wow. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if that's really true or not, but it could possibly
be. It's hard to tell what is true these days, isn't it? It's hard to tell what's true. So much stuff.
Yeah. And like you was talking a little while ago about talking about dinosaurs, like their closest living relative now are chickens and turkeys. Yeah. Chickens and turkeys is like, they say if you eat a turkey, that's like eating a dinosaur. You want to know what a dinosaur tastes like? That's what it is.
No wonder they're gone. No wonder they're gone.
Yeah.
They're
gone. Yeah.
Like
hey,
go ahead. Like the dodo,
I didn't hear you.
The dodo
bird. Yeah, extinct like them.
The dodo bird probably tasted pretty good too. They're gone.
Yeah. Hey, Aaron, I'm gonna ask you something. What do you think about the conspiracy, the Beatle conspiracy about Paul McCartney being dead? Believe that he's really dead and this is a clone or a double? This might be a double.
Well, that's a good question. Sometimes I think it may be true. Sometimes I think it might be not true. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of evidence. I mean, his color of his eyes changed. I mean, that's pretty non-natural. I mean, his music changed. Yes. Maybe it's the same guy, but I don't know. And Billy Spears disappeared. He won the lookalike contest for Paul McCartney. Looked exactly like him, almost exactly like him, and he was also a musician. So if Paul McCartney did die, it would be smart for them to contact this guy, and they were going to just, according to the story you probably heard, they were only going to use Billy Spears for a little while until they could figure out how they were going to tell the fans. But then it worked out so good they decided to stay with it. Or it's really Paul McCartney, because I saw recently, a couple years ago, on YouTube, there was a video of Paul McCartney. Someone was interviewing Paul McCartney, and he brought him out to all of his childhood home, and he was recalling everything that happened in the house and all of his relatives. So I don't know if Billy Spears could really know all that stuff. Maybe, but I don't know. So yeah, that's a tough one. It's an interesting one, and it probably still sells records, right?
Yeah, it's a strange thing about it. One thing that is strange that they did say, I read an article, and I was also looking at a video talking about this years ago, that if you look at Paul McCartney pre-1967, like from 1966 until when they started, that's supposed to be the original Paul McCartney. From 1967 on to now, it's supposed to be the duplicate. If you look at them, they say that the old Paul McCartney from 66 and before is shorter than the other Paul McCartney, which was the new one in 67. And they did size comparisons, and they said he's much taller than the actual Paul McCartney was before 66, from 66 and before. And they did a comparison of that 66 McCartney to the 67 and one. And, you can see a size difference. It was like a slight size difference. But then again, I don't know, because they look exactly alike. And then another thing, too, I could see someone looking like someone else. But how can you sound like someone else, too, His voice is exactly the same as the other one. So you listen to all the Beatles songs from beginning to the end. You hear all the sounds of Paul McCartney's same exact voice. Now, if a person could look exactly like someone else, but sound exactly like someone else too, that's kind of difficult, eh? Have the same voice also.
Or a similar voice. Now, I found this picture of, like you said, it's a 64 and a 67.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm waiting for that to kind of show up here, and I'll click on it. But they do look they look similar, but slightly different. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's a tough one to call, you know? And
Yeah,
they don't show their ears very much. A lot of times you can tell by the ears.
exactly. Because the ears don't never change usually.
Yeah, and they're always different on everybody. So, okay, we got it up now. All right, now we got a screen share. So here we go. There's Paul McCartney 64, Paul McCartney 67. Okay. It's almost the same exact angle.
Yeah, it's almost the same. It's really hard to tell.
His eyes look similar. Jawline looks similar. His chin looks a little bit bigger in 67. That could just be the shadowing, though, on the 64 one. A little bit more shadow on the right side.
Like they said that the new McCartney from 67 and beyond he wasn't exactly the look-alike. You know, he was very, very close to McCartney, but some touch-ups had to be done. So they did a little minor surgery to him and stuff like that. That's why as sometimes you've seen him with a mustache.
All right. Interesting.
There was an interview done with McCartney, and I think it was in 1988, I believe. I can't remember who interviewed him. And in the interview, he was talking to the guy who was interviewing him, and he was holding his face, and he was leaning on his chin. You know how some people do when you talk, and then he let go, and you could see handprints on his face as if like he had clay on his face, like his face was made out of clay or something, or something like, you know, like how you press down on some Play-Doh or some clay and make a handprint, and it leaves your print of your hands like it's soft. Like, and it did that, and he let it go, and I guess he didn't notice it. The camera caught everything, and you could still see this interview. I don't know who interviewed it. I've seen it before, but I can't recall what a show was on, a program, but someone was interviewing. I believe it was from 1988. You can see it. The handprint is you can see it's right there, you know, like his whole face was wrinkled when he let his face go. So as if they were saying that, you know, he might have had so many plastic surgery done that part of his face is not real. Things like that.
No, I'm looking up Billy Spears now because I want to see a picture of the actual Billy Spears to see if there's any pictures of him. Oh boy. I guess there's a lot of people named Billy Spears.
Yeah.
Paul.
It's also, he went by the name of William Sheridan or Billy Sheridan also.
Billy Sheridan, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not seeing wait a minute. I'm trying to see if there's a picture of Billy Spears. Well, there's a picture of Paul McCartney with his face all messed up, like he was in a fight. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. It's a puzzling one.
It very much is. And you know, they left a lot of clues after that on the albums.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Sergeant
for
Pepper's
years.
Lonely Hearts Club Band album was all of the clues on there.
Every album from 67 down had clues on the album and in the songs. You know, everything after Revolver had album clues on it, you know, about clues about him being dead and stuff like that.
You know what's really sad about the Beatles too is the whole their drummer.
Oh, the original drummer,
Yeah, what was his name?
Pete Best.
Pete Best.
Yes.
Yeah. So sad what happened to him.
Yeah.
They didn't even tell him. They didn't even tell him.
Yeah, he just was outed, you know.
It was just out. Yeah.
Imagine that. You out of a band that becomes one of the biggest bands in history, you know?
Billy Shears. That's what it is. Yeah, not Spears. Billy Shears. It's Billy Shears. Thanks, Operation Shutdown. Thanks, Operation Shutdown. See, the people in the chat, pretty smart people.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't hear what you were saying. I would have corrected you. I didn't. I knew it was Billy Shears.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you was saying before.
I think I was getting mixed up with Max Spears.
You know, it's another thing too that I heard about the Beatles is that, you know, a lot of people died after, you know, around the time, like towards the end of their careers when they was about to break up, and then when they broke up, that was connected to them, you know, that I heard under suspicious, nefarious circumstances, you know. It may not have been just a coincidence, like their manager had died of suicide, Brian Epstein, and I heard that it really wasn't suicide, it's because he knew too much of something, and they killed him.
Oh no!
And then one of their roadies and assistants named God, what was his name? Mal Evans. He was one of the, you know, assistants that, you know, used to hang out with them in the studio and stuff, and when they go on tour, help them and chill with them. He died in 1970 something. He had some information or something that someone had gave him, and he was on a payphone talking to someone saying that he was going to meet someone tomorrow, the next day, about an interview about some information he wanted to get off his chest relating to the Beatles. Once he got off the payphone, he was walking across the street, and a car comes by and hits him and kills him under suspicious circumstances. Then, you know, and later on in the early 80s, you know, John Lennon gets murdered. I heard that he was about to open it about something. That's why they killed him, you know. And
yeah,
I don't know about the George Harrison death. You know, I don't know if George Harrison was injected with something that caused him to get ill. You know, it's a lot of things. I don't know, but I heard that a lot of it had to do about the reason they didn't want people to know about the Beatles were creation of the Tavistock Institute on Human Relations. You know, to brainwash people into doing things, you know, like how they do with music artists now. You know, they get them to, you know, say things and put them in hypnotic states with their songs and their melodies, get them to use drugs, and just they were the first created guinea pig band to do that. You know, and they knew too much, and they don't want them to open their mouth and stuff like that and rat people out, and it's a lot to do with that. You know, Satan worshiping. That, you know, I heard that John Lennon was about to reveal that, you know, like all of these artists, even nowadays, they have to, you know, sometimes they get demons and spirits to possess, to get inside them so they can get possessed by the demon spirit so they can write hit songs, you know?
Sad.
And the demon writes the songs for them. And he knew about all this, so he wanted to come forward and tell the world that this is how some artist makes the hits, you know, to, you know, being possessed by a spirit, and they killed him for it.
Wow.
And that's why John Lennon, I believe, was assassinated.
I remember when John Lennon released his last album, and he was in an interview, and he said, "Oh, you know, I've been quiet for a while, but you're not going to be able to." He said something like, "You're not going to be able to shut me up. I'm going to be talking a lot. I'm going to be saying a lot. I'll be everywhere." Something to that effect.
Yeah.
And shortly after that, he died. And I thought, oh my God, he was just ready to just start bubbling out again. And
he was going to tell everything. And, you know, they knew the CIA, they had his phone tapped. They was following him. They was watching him. And they knew they didn't even want him in America. You know, they didn't want him here because, you know, it's just the time, I guess they overheard that he was about to open his mouth in an interview or to the public, to the world. And they was like, enough is enough. You have, get rid of them. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Wow, you've really given us something to think about here, Paul McCartney. I mean, I've thought of it before, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming to the end of the show here, and so I want to thank you for calling in. I really, really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun, and call in again. We miss you. So nice.
Thanks a lot, Aaron.
You're welcome. All right. Have a good evening.
All right, I'll call in again.
Okay. Take care, buddy.
All right, see you later. Okay, see you later. See you later.
All right, friends. Oh. There we go. Okay. Well, friends, we did it again. Another episode of Truth Quest. Thank you for coming along for the ride. We really appreciate each and every one of you. We're one big family. We're brothers and sisters. We're working on this full disclosure. Remember to watch out for the AI. Remember to keep your cameras and your phones out so you can take that picture of that UFO and send it in and get on, talk to us about it on the Truth Quest show. Thank you, everybody, for chatting, for calling in. We had a great show tonight, and we're going to do it all again on Wednesday. And Wednesday is, let me check here. I believe Wednesday is, yes, Wednesday is going to be the Bernie Mendez interview. So tune in for that. It's going to happen in the morning, 9 o'clock Eastern time in the morning. So we'll be going live. We won't be taking any calls, but we'll be watching the chat. And we hope that you join us. It's going to be fantastic. Remember now, Bernie Mendez verifies Andrew Pashago's story because he was in the programs with Andrew in both Project Pegasus and the Mars Jump Room. So tune in for that on Wednesday and Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and occasionally on a weekend day. So that's what we're doing. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate every single one of you. And thank you, Catherine Weiss, for your very generous super chat. And thank you again for to David, the my friend who sent, and the viewer who sent a large amount of money. Thank you so very, very, very much. Thank you all for coming along, and peace in.